never done this before. So.
The first time for everything.
What's this thing?
Baby's never had it before.
What's this thing? Oh. I don't think I'm very good at this.
Scrape it up and put it back in her mouth.
Like that.
Now let her get the hang of it.
What's that thing? Try a bit more.
My mum was diagnosed on the 29th of April 2009, but she didn't tell me and my brother for about 3 weeks because we went on holiday. So while we were on holiday, she was just trying not to let anything slip.
William and Mummy having a nice sit down before we go back around the lazy river.
So my mum is just fab. There is no other way to describe her really. Obviously everyone says their mum's the best, but it's you really see it coming through when her life is basically on the balance and stuff like that, and she's always making us laugh and stuff, always comforting us. It's hard, I think, because me and William were only young, and it's how do you deal with telling young children but also trying to keep them calm? And she just had this natural way of being able to calm us down if we started panicking about stuff as well. And she would still play piano and stuff like that, and I used to go and sit and listen to her play just because it was calming for me. My dad would deal with the situation. He obviously probably got told more than me and William did, but I think he's a very quiet person. He doesn't really say much about what he's feeling, but he'd always be dropping Mum at the hospital, waiting with her, taking her to her chemotherapy and radiotherapy appointments, cleaning up after us basically, doing the cooking and cleaning, and just supporting her in any way that he could. But I don't know if he sees how much he did for us, but yeah, he did a lot. How did Mum tell you?
Mum had to go. Mum went with her mum to the hospital. She said she'd got a lump, and then I then went again with Mum for further testing at Solihull, and that's when we found out it together really.
Oh, okay. So she didn't know before you sort of found out?
No. Mum wondered that was something up, and then we went to the specialist, and they told us the results then.
I think he dealt with the whole thing really well. It's obviously going to be hard for a partner to have to watch their other half go through something and know that you can't take away any of the pain and stuff that they're going through. But I think he did really well, and keeping all of us calm, keeping all of us together, and I really appreciate how he dealt with it.
William.
I don't fully think William understood what was going on, because when Mum told us, he kind of looked at me to see what my reaction was, and then I think he copied my reaction. But he was only 7 when we were told, so I think to him it was just, oh, Mum's not very well for a bit, we need to look after her. but I don't think he knew sort of the severity of how ill she was.
What we're doing?
What do you remember about it all? Because you were only 7 when it happened.
Not much really. Yeah, I just remember Mum come down when we were watching YouTube, and she told us she'd found a lump, and that was the main sort of memory I remember. Yeah, that's it really.
Nanny B is Mum's mum, and I can't even begin to even try and imagine how upsetting and how much she would have had to deal with it, because you know it's your kid that's going through this.
Want to use another sheet? Do some more there.
Here we go, Luby.
You have to be a bit closer than that. Are you enjoying playing with William's present?
It's lovely, this is. Yes, I can play with him. La 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 la.
You as a parent always want to be there to try and make sure that like they never get hurt and stuff, but then when this happens, it's like, oh my word, what's he gonna do? How did you find out about Mum?
Well, I went with your mum to the hospital for her to have an examination, and they took her into a small room and left me outside. But then a little while later they came and said, would you come in and sit with your daughter, which I did.
And yeah.
And they explained to me that they'd found the cancer, and it was a shock. It was a real shock, and all I could think of was, why couldn't it be me? Why couldn't it be me?
So when Mum started her treatment, she had chemotherapy once every 3 weeks, and I made her like a paper sort of booklet with all the dates on so that she could see how many weeks that she had left. And I think she really appreciated it, because I don't think she expected me to know what it was, but she just knew that I wanted her to get better. Her radiotherapy was every day for 3 weeks, Monday to Friday, and Dad used to take her to those, and she made her own chart for her radiotherapy. I think she liked the idea of being able to see how long she had left, and I think it helped her to visualise like the end of the treatment getting nearer. Alongside the chemotherapy and the radiotherapy, Mum was also given Herceptin, and she did her own Herceptin chart as well as that. And Herceptin was to slow down the growth of the tumour because of the HER2 growth hormone in it, which was making it grow quicker, which is what moved it from a stage 2 up to a stage 3. So what sort of things did you have to do to like help her cope with it?
Just be there for her, to be honest. Just help around the house as much as I could, and just be a listening ear. And just when she needed to get some things, or she couldn't drive to the hospital, that was one of the biggest things, is that when she was having the daily chemo, I drove to the hospital.
That's good.
So that was it really, but as I say, luckily everyone mucked in and helped out a huge amount.
And how well do you think she coped with it all?
Very, very well. That first, when she first knew, it was a bit of a shock and it was very upsetting. But she coped wonderfully well.
Is there any like specific memories that you've got from that time? Like not just her telling us, but from the whole sort of process, as it were?
I remember going visiting Mum in hospital,
Mm.
and she got no hair, and she's just sort of lying on the bed, really weak. Yeah, and she just didn't look as I remembered her from a few weeks ago.
Mm. So, Mum's last appointment was in 2014, and then she was officially signed off from the breast cancer clinic on the 13th of October 2015. Who was you most nervous about telling? Like, because like if it was me, I'd be like more nervous about telling like you as a mum, because it's like the worry thing. But like, who was you most nervous about telling?
You and William. Because there's nothing more upset. Oh, I'm getting upset now.
Oh.
There's nothing more upsetting than telling your kids like what might happen. Because at the time I told you, we didn't know, did we? We didn't know what would happen. But I mean, you were brilliant. You got a little bit upset. William didn't understand. He was so young, he didn't understand what was going on. But yeah, I mean, telling your dad is not a problem. You know, he's a big hairy bloke, so he's going to be fine about it.
Yeah.
And then obviously your nan was with me when I went to the hospital, so I didn't actually tell her. There I was laid out, having had a biopsy on the little couch in the room, and the registrar said, do you want to bring your mum in? And I said, oh yes please. And she said, do you want to tell her? And I went, no, because I didn't know what to say. So she told her. She was lovely. So yeah, and your nan was great.
Did you know what was going to happen when you went in?
People talk about chemo and you don't know what's involved, how they administer it, and I was really scared when I first went for my first chemo, but it's not that bad. You're just attached to a drip, and yes, the drugs can make you ill, and they did make me ill, but the actual process of putting it in you isn't as bad as you think, when nobody tells you that. You just hear this word chemo and it's scary and you don't know what to expect. So, but I mean, obviously when you go there, the nurses explain everything to you, and the nurses are brilliant. They really are. And the chemo wards, it sounds a strange thing to say, but they're such a lovely place. Everybody is positive. Everybody talks to everybody else because everybody's in the same boat, and it's just a really nice place to be. So it's not as scary as you might think it would be.
How easy was like the recovery process, knowing that like you had us like supporting you like fully throughout it?
Well, that's the key, isn't it? It's, you know, you have people around you, and you know, your family and friends and that, and it's not as bad. It doesn't make it half as bad, because you know you've got to get through, you know, the next stage and the next stage, and you know that those people are always there and running around and getting me water and anything, you know, you can do to help. And it is strange for people because there's nothing anyone can do, but it's just the fact that they're there.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter that they can't do anything, just like somebody holding your hand, that's all you need sometimes. Yeah, so no, you need people. You can't do it yourself. And they say like it's not just the person that's affected, it is the whole family, and it is, but it's in a positive way, really.
Yeah.
I knew you were going on. Let's just continue. I love Dawson. Right, keep going? Yeah.